Okay, so I got the base, the engine base set up in the mill. Bolted it to some 1, 2, 3 blocks. Got that held down with my hold downs, and I don't know if you could see under the back. Under the back here. See if I could bring you in closer. Under the back, I used a bolt, 3/8 bolt, with a nut to lock it to the right height, supporting the back of it there. And so let's before we turn it on, let me just show you one other thing that I did with this. Let me see if I could zoom out a little bit here. I used my, let me see if I can get this into the frame. Okay, I used my digital readout on the quill and went around, touched off on it until it's just touching, and I went around to all 4 corners and touched off again, and I got it within 5 thousandths. I'll come down, I'll just touch off on it, and it's just about touching there. Let me zero it, and I'll pick it up. Oh, pick it up and run it down to this end. And touch off on that. Let's see. That's just about there, 1,000. And touch off again. It's just touching off there, 1,000. The back corner, we'll check that out. Okay, just touch off this one last back corner and see where we are, and touching off on that. Yeah, that's a high spot there. That's about 5 thousandths. So that's good enough. We're going to go ahead and turn on the mill, and let's get cutting. Bring you back in a little closer for this. See if you get in focus there. but that should be fine. We should be good. Bring you a little closer if we can get you there. Okay, so there we have it. All right, we'll move on to getting the top side of this set up in a little bit. Okay, here's another shot of how I had this base set up. I had the 1, 2, 3 blocks, 2 of them clamped down to the table at the mill. I got another regular 3/8 bolt here. I used it as a jack, basically, just to support it. Just to support it in this area here. This I had a hole down that went down on here, and I used nothing more than the clamping bar. Hold this right down in here and tighten that down. So I held it down, and that just gave this some rigidity in the back. All right. Okay, here we are over at the surface plate, and you can see it's very, very solid. It's not rocking. Get in focus there. Very solid, and I'm pretty happy with the how that came out. Okay, so what I have here now, I have this 1, 2, 3 block that's bolted up to the table, and I made sure that it was square to the table. Put it here, checked it, and then just as a double check to make sure, I set up my test indicator, and we're within a 1/2 thou across the length of this. So I'm saying that is pretty damn perpendicular. Okay. So. Okay, so now we'll bolt this down here. I got this resting up against the edge of this 1, 2, 3 block. We'll clamp this down and run this cutter across the face of this to square this up. Okay, welcome back. As you can see, I got the engine base fastened down. The 1, 2, 3 block we had squared up to the table. Fasten this down with a couple of hold downs, and now I'm going to go ahead and with the same 3/4 end mill I used before, I'm going to mill across the face of this, making this perpendicular to the reference. Let's see. All right, let's get going. Okay, so over here at the surface plate, I went ahead and I scribed from the reference surface, as the plans call for, 1 inch and 420 thousandths up. And went ahead, don't know how easy it is for you to see this, basically lay down, set my height gauge, and scribe, and scribe. Okay. So this is the reference line. The center of the cylinder is bored here, through here, and that would be the center line for the crankshaft. So let me get it set up in the mill, and I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, let's see, where do we begin here? Alright, I got the holes laid out for the cylinder head. Kind of a Rube Goldberg setup. Got the base of the engine in another vise placed in this vise, and tweaked it back and forth so my dial indicator is pretty much flat across both axes of the I don't know if you can catch this in the screen. And so I'm going to drill the holes, and got the drill truck in the milling machine. Going to go ahead and center drill each of the holes, and it's a pretty mundane operation. I won't bore everybody with that, so I'll come back when got them all drilled. See you in a bit. Well, I figured I'd give you a quick shot. I used my wiggler, and I locking down the table. I found the center of the hole. I got to drill at 23/64, and then I'll do a 3/8 ream. So we'll take a look at that in the field. I'm going to move on to drill and tap these 3 holes for, I believe it's 540 thread. I gotta go look at the plans. I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, I'm back here. I found this. I found the center of this first bolt hole. Made a mistake. The comment before saying I was going to drill and tap it for 540. This gets a through hole 9/64. So right now I got my center drill, and let me just touch off on that. Find the center on that.